Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Shantae. In the last part we got here to the Golem Mine and now we're going to finish this place off. Though, mind you, the rest of this place isn't that very long. Getting the elephant is actually most of it. Though, as an overall dungeon, I think this is actually shorter than the first dungeon. I forget, what was the first dungeon even called? Was it just called the Aqueduct? Now, like the Aqueduct, or whatever the heck the first dungeon was called, there are 5 warp squids in here, but you can only get 4 at this point in the game. I'll be getting number 5 later. Now, I'm actually backtracking a bit to the entrance in the dungeon because, there is something we need over there. Plain and simply. And I need more health, too, and that also helps. You see, there's a total of 3 more keys in this place. As far as I'm aware, you only need 2 if you do what I do. But I'm still showing it off because there's a warp squid in this room anyway. And here we got another one of these magnet guys and another chest that gets magnetized to you. Contrary to some people's beliefs, the magnets, if they start their attack, will push or pull you depending on what color you are. So I'm actually moving on to the left already because he's pulling me. There are some people that think they do nothing, but that's just probably just because they're either the wrong color or they just don't care. And that's warp squid number 2? Yeah, 2. And now I actually need to go to the bottom of the labyrinth because, the main hub room, which is the central corridor, does have 2 color changes at the bottom, which you want to use. I'm personally just going to go over there using the elephant, though probably the monkey would have been faster until I actually needed the elevator. Even then, I don't even think you really need the elevator that much. Riveting gameplay. But we want to come down here to change ourselves to the red polarization. Because, on floor 3, not floor 2 as I think it is momentarily, there are spikes on either side you can break using the elephant. And we need to use that to our advantage. Over here to the right, we got another stone golem. That's what these guys are. Now, the funny thing is about these guys is that they can hurt, yeah, but you can actually one-shot them with the elephant charge, which is very good. And here we got another one of those magnet guys, which is the reason I changed my magnetism pole thing. And you still do need to kill the magnet guy to get out of here because the door locks. Also, this guy looks like he'd be right at home in Magnet Man stage back in Mega Man 3. I'm not sure if those guys can even damage you. But then again, I've never tried. Eh. You know, what's weird about this game's dungeon design? It's one of those games that looks much more complicated than it actually is in terms of dungeon design, because I was first experienced this game through my cousin, and I watched him play it on over Skype. And these dungeons looked a hell of a lot more complicated than they actually are for me. Probably due to the fact that the Skype screen is much smaller. Mind you, this was very early Skype, like, oof. Probably within the year of its original debut? Anyway, we want to come up here because there is another warp squid. I need to cough. That's probably something from lunch stuck in my throat. But then again, you don't need to know that, do you? Sorry about that. Now, this is a bit of an odd area. We're on floor 2 right now, very obviously. And to the left is an entirely long series of rooms that allows you to get the next warp squid number 4 at this point. And I think you need one of the keys for over there, actually. However, if you know what to do, you don't need that key at all, as far as I'm aware. Because you can just monkey up, jump up here, and stand on this one pixel that they allow you to stand on. Which applies for every form. It's Mega Man logic at its finest. Even if you are a freaking elephant. Game Boy Color programming. Gotta love it. Though actually the color was a pretty good system. Stronger than the NES, I know that much. It's probably better than the Master System, even. The Master System was more powerful than the NES, wasn't it? It's been a while since I checked that thing out. I know it wasn't as successful, that's for sure. And with that, aside from the 5th Warp Squid, we're pretty much done here. We'll be back for that Warp Squid later, though. Now we actually need to go to the bottom floor and then head left, because that's where the next thing of interest is for us, and that's the boss. Come on, health! Yeah, baby. And here you just hit the elephant with your elephant, and then you just have to jump across the lava. I'm not sure if the lava is insta-kill, I'm just going to assume it is, so I wouldn't recommend going in it. And this is pretty much the final corridor before the boss fight. I'm just gonna say right now, this boss fight's an absolute joke. It's one of those cases of somewhat hard dungeon, fairly hard boss. By the way, to the left of that base was a full heal heart. And in case you didn't have elephant at this point, there's your warning to get it. Yoo-hoo, Golem Stone! Come to Mama. I'm onto you, Risky Boots. You're trying to rebuild the steam engine using all 4 magical relics. Well, well, you're a smart little tag-along. This single piece of Golem Stone is the only metal strong enough to hold the other stone's power. Once I have all 4 stones in my possession, I'll create the most powerful weapon in this world has ever seen. What? Ah! That's twice that's happened to you now because you're flapping your mouth. Learn your damn lesson, villains. And the boss of this is a gigantic stone golem who is pathetically easy. You can only damage that little gem on his forehead, but as far as I'm aware, you can't get any hits off the start. However, by standing on his head, you can transform into the elephant and charge into his face, which is how you do allow him to be hit. Or opens him up to be hit. Then you just jump onto his head and flap your hair like mad, and then you win. And he's dead already. That was pathetic. And I actually jumped right into the victory animation, as you notice here, because I'm right where the Golem Stone spawns after you beat the boss. Wrench, you're back! What's this? A note from Sky. It reads, Dear Shantae, someone named Roddy Tops replied to my message. She says she knows the whereabouts of the next magical stone. She travels with the zombie caravan, which is camped east of Watertown. Hope this helps. Friends always, Sky. Gah! Sounds like my next stop, alright. I better go find that caravan. Now, we could do that, or we could do some side stuff first. First off, over in Scuttletown, I forgot to edit that little junction out. Whoops. Oh, well. I want to use all 4 of the warp squids I got in that dungeon here to get us this warp place. I will tell you now, there are more than there is exactly the amount of warp squids that you need to get every warp dance in the game. They weren't mean, and you're let me restart that sentence. There's just enough warp squids to get every warp squid location in the game. They weren't mean enough to have one of those points where you could just only get all but one of them. I hate it when games do that. Just give me enough damn resources to do everything. So now we can warp to Watertown whenever we want to. Next up, I'm actually going to head over back to the Spider Forest because there's this tree stump here. The thing is, the elephant charge doesn't only break spikes, it can also break stumps like this. And certain stumps like this contain shortcuts. They're not immediately accessible though, because you need to open up both ends. Next up, very early on in the waterfall area, in fact pretty much just right below the entrance, or at least the west entrance, there's this little optional cave system you can go into, which leads into another section of the forest, as we'll see here. You see, Shantae herself isn't the only thing that gets upgrades. All 4 of the transformations, the monkey, the elephant, and the other 2 who we haven't gotten yet, all get at least 1 upgrade. By the way, this stump here is the other entrance to that shortcut I just opened up. So now I can get from Spider Forest to Waterfall area much more quickly. Anyway, as I was saying, all the transformations have upgrades, which you can find randomly, well not randomly, find in various set locations that require a bit of exploring, if you will. What I'm going for now is one of the, if not the only, upgrade for the monkey. Which I'm just going to say right now, you probably want, because, as I mentioned when I got him, the only real problem with the monkey is that he can't attack. Well, we're going to try and fix that. Just wall jump enough, and you should be able to find another tree stump up here, as we'll see right about now. By now you know what to do with these. Just smash them in the face with an elephant. And we can now climb down here and get another little one of these little puzzle areas. This is, as far as I'm aware, the only mandatory use in 100% for the Storm Puffs. We need to zap this guy. What the Storm Puffs do is that you spawn them, they fly for a bit, and then they strike lightning in one specific location. Apparently, since that guy was in the wall, it didn't happen. So what we need to do is hit this electric guy in the forehead. Like so. He explodes, and we can progress to the left. Where the monkey claw waits, so now our monkey can attack. And now we're gonna go meet ourselves over in Watertown, or at least just outside of Watertown, because that's in the general direction of our next destination. By the way, the monkey claw works just like your hair attack, just press B. It's really weak though, it's about the strength of one normal hair attack. And now, earlier in the game, when we first came to Watertown, I actually headed into this area. This is Rainstorm, by the way, as far as I'm aware. And got a Firefly. Well, now we're actually going to go through this area proper. Enemy-wise here, there's nothing too dangerous. The only thing that's really kind of dangerous is the Wraith kind of guys. Don't know what they are, why they're here, but they can be kind of troublesome because they will directly go for you. And very clearly, you needed the monkey to progress in this area. Love the nighttime song for this, by the way. It reminds me of it for some reason reminds me of the Nightmare on Elm Street NES game, and I don't know why. Okay, I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. I was nowhere near that thing. Anyway, now we're in Snail Fields. I recommend you be here at night, actually, because then the snail shells won't have their snails be active. They're giant-ass enemies. And, they're just not fun to deal with, so always come here at night, at least as often as you can. Then you only have to really deal with these praying mantis weird things. By the way, if you want a quick way to kill something, do the little shoulder charge attack that Shantae has. Or at least that you can get from one of the upgrades, because that will kill things quickly. Ooh, Firefly. I actually forgot this was here at this point. But that's number 3, a fourth of the way through them. Screw you. I had no chance of dodging that. Although, another way to kill enemies really quickly is the add-on to that shoulder charge, the little spin attack she does where she flies into the air. That can one-hit the Nagas, I know that much, which means that probably does about 4 damage. Maybe 5. And we're actually right near the exit to the Snail Wasteland already. Or Snail Plains, or whatever I called it earlier. However, there's this little wall here we can climb on top of, which we want to check out. And there's this stone. Well, you might be wondering what this stone's here for. Well, it's essentially a tree trunk. We can break it with the elephant. Yet again, we need to find the other entrance before we can do anything with this, though. I do believe we do that in this part, but I'm not entirely sure. I never really use the shortcuts for some reason. I'm that guy that's risk versus reward. I'll take fighting the enemies to get gems over doing that. Though honestly, at this point, there's not much left we can do with gems. And welcome to the Mud Swamp. Or Zombie Swamp, as I hear some people call it, because there are zombies in here. For some reason. This place is a lot of blind jumps, because everything below you is in stealth. By the way, hi, Dungeon 3. Honestly, though, this place isn't that threatening. Heck, there's even a save point in the middle of it. One of the problems with the monkey, I will say, is that it has a bit of weird momentum when it comes to its jump. It's really floaty. And because of that, I find myself sometimes getting hit by enemies I shouldn't be because I'm not paying attention to my jumping. Or, you know, the jump button could just not work at all. That works too. Don't you hate it when that happens? You press the button and it just doesn't work. I know that happens in some games because there's the occasional little frame skip lag thing going on, but... Ugh. Anyway, welcome to the Ghost Forest. This place is annoying no matter what time of day you're in. This is also, I think, one of the only areas that has more than one firefly in it. Let me check that on my notes, because they do have all their locations written down. Also, the stump on screen right now is the next shortcut, I believe. Yeah, it was Snail Wasteland, by the way. Yeah, 2 are in here. But we can't get the next one until quite a bit later. Now, it's at this point, I'm actually going to cut to this area at night. Right here, because the next firefly is right up here. Which is, you know, really good to get. And I'm not sure how you're supposed to figure this out unless you just randomly try it. And you're not supposed to be a monkey for this. That wall in front of us is another destructible object with the... words are failing my head. That happens a lot. How did I make it to senior year again? Really like the nighttime theme here, though. I think it's the same nighttime theme as it was earlier, though. Huh. Shows how much I pay attention. And away with you! And we're actually coming up on the zombie caravan that Sky mentioned. In fact, here it is right here. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we'll be checking out the zombie caravan and heading on to the 3rd dungeon. See you guys then.